The door was ajar. "Lise?" I said, looking around the front yard in case she'd come out for some fresh air. There was no response. I tried to think back to that morning, wondering if I'd left the door open. It seemed like an impossibility. I was obsessively careful and paranoid about those kind of things. I knew for a fact that Lisa was the same. Pushing the door open, I took slow, tentative steps into the house, looking left and right, judging and second-guessing every shadow in case it shrouded a hidden attacker. "Lisa?" I said again, when I was more confident that the coast was clear from potential threats. There was still no reply. I closed the door behind me and made my way up the stairs. As I came to the landing, I stopped dead in my tracks, discovering a bookcase knocked over. Old leather-bound volumes of Dickens, Poe, Swift and Stevenson I'd inherited from my grandfather, strewn about the floor, dirty boot prints on their otherwise perfect covers. A chill came over me. A quiver on my lip I couldn't seem to stop. Bursting into the bedroom, I felt my legs weaken, falling to the floor uncontrollably. My eyes begged to cry but refused to well with tears. I hadn't been able to cry for years. Not since my grandfather's funeral, where Lisa had stood by my side and held my hand as I shed more tears than I ever imagined possible. It had been 4 years since I last cried. As if my body had become overwhelmed, tear ducts overloaded, the function plugged up for good. Cemented to the floor, I couldn't move, couldn't think. Surrounded by the shattered pieces of the life I and the woman of my dreams had made together. The lamps we brought back from Morocco, the jug we squabbled about playfully in the antique shop in Notting Hill, the crystal glass from the set we bought in Canada that Lisa had insisted were not only too expensive, but would get broken instantly. The shards of the last survivor of the set glittered in the light from the unsheathed lamp bulb, its surround destroyed. The silence over the desolate room was shattered, just as our possessions had been, by my phone. I pulled it out and looked at the caller ID. It was Lisa. "Lise?" There was no voice back. I could hear mutters that were too far from the microphone to make out. 2 voices, one higher than the other, but both indecipherable, like a hand was placed over the phone. "Lisa? Are you okay?" "Mrs. Weston," said a voice, gruff and deep, a distorted mock Cockney accent that was quiet, as if it were spoken from behind a window. "Who is this?" "We have your wife," the caller grunted, his tone emotionless, robotic almost, tinted with the notion of a threat. An anxious, empty pit punched through my stomach. I felt physically ill and found myself dry retching uncontrollably, the vomit reflex mocking me just like my tear ducts. The grip I had on the phone loosened. It tumbled out of my fingers to the floor as I tried to control the bodily functions that seemed intent on spasming of their own volition. I could hear the mumble of the man speaking faintly, and took deep breaths, trying to quell the desire to throw up. Picked up the phone with trembling hands. "Mrs. Weston?" the caller said, an uncertainty in his tone. "I'm here," I said, with a rasped, dry throat scratching out the words. "If you want to see her again, you'll need £50,000 by Friday." His statement was followed by a soft double beep. "We don't have that kind of money." "Find a way." His voice was wavering again, the accent he had adopted faltering. "Call the police and you'll never see her again." The call cut off.